Today's webinar, we will be learning how to create a Google site using the new Google Sites format and platform. The first thing you'll need to do is log in to google.com. When you get there, you'll see a sign in button up here on the top right. Sign in with your chapter username and login. You should have received that many years ago. If for some reason you've forgotten it, you can contact us and we can definitely help you locate that. If you are brand new to the Google Sites platform, then you'll need to create an account for your chapter. You can do that by going into the sign in and following the instructions on how to set up an account. So let's pretend like we already have our login. We're going to click on the sign in button. I'm going to use our Isaac Walton League email address, media@iwla.org. You're going to put in your password and hit next. You'll still be on the same screen. What you'll need to do is there's this little box of grid, or a grid-like box up here in the top right-hand corner. And you will click on that, and you're going to see all the different apps that Google offers. Here's the calendar app, there's Gmail, Google+, all sorts of things, Maps. You're going to click on the Drive icon. The Drive icon is where your new website will live. This is not where your old website lived. This is where the new one lives. You'll notice for us, we don't have anything in our Drive. If you have used the old or the classic Google Sites many years ago for your chapter, you might see some forms in here or photos. It just depends on how you used it back then. Sometimes we download documents or photos that are emailed to us and we don't really realize it, but Google is saving those in our Drive. So don't be alarmed if you see content on this page. First thing, a little bit about the Drive. The Drive is just like a hard drive on your computer. It's where you can save information. You can save your photos, your documents. You can share documents with other people. You can also go in here and create your calendar. You can save your maps. Think of it as a place to store all of the information on your website. We actually highly recommend that everyone do save their website photos and documents on the Drive and not on your personal computer. That way, if you ever decide to change hands and let someone else manage the website, all of the information is there for them and they won't be calling or emailing you wondering where certain photos or documents are. And we're going to go over how to upload and save things to your Drive. So the first thing you need to do is you need to right-click anywhere in the gray space. And when you do that, you will see a little pop-up window comes up with all sorts of information. You're going to create new folder. And what we're going to do is we are going to create a folder for all of those photos and documents. So I'm going to create one that says website photos. And then I'm going to create another one called website documents. Okay, and this is where you will upload your photos and your documents. So to do that, you're going to go into the website photo folder, click on it. Again, it's empty for now, so you can right-click and hit Upload Files. When you do that, you'll be taken to your computer, and you're going to go into your computer, and we are going to find some photos to upload. Here's a bunch of photos that I have for the website. We've got lots of things. We've got logos, we've got art, we've got a Facebook icon, lots of different things. So I'm going to just go ahead and upload those now so you'll be able to see them. It's really fast. Okay, here we go. So here's all the logos that I uploaded. I uploaded a Facebook icon in case you want to show people that you're on Facebook. Obviously, I have 3 different sizes for the Isaac Walton League logo. There's a PayPal logo for those chapters who like to accept membership dues through PayPal. And then all of these other ones are generic header images. They're going to be at the top of all of your pages, and we'll show you that once we get into the website. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to just come in here and you're going to upload any photos. So let's pretend like you had a big fishing event or a turkey shoot, and you have a lot of photos that you want to upload. the first thing you need to do is resize those photos so they're smaller. You don't want to upload them as is because then they're going to be really big and it's going to slow down your website. And Google will also limit the size that you can put in there. At some point, it's going to say you can't upload any more photos because your box is full. So try to size those images down. We recommend anywhere from around 500 to 500 is a really good size. That's big enough, but it's also pretty small too. And in the website, you can actually drag and drop, resize your photos directly inside the website too, and I can show you how to do that. So you're going to upload these here. We're going to click on the My Drive up here in the top kind of left corner, and we're going to go back to the drive. Now we're going to click on Website Documents, and we're just going to upload some documents. So we're going to go back in here, and I'm going to upload a PDF, and I'll upload one more. And you're just going to go find those on your own computer, and we're going to upload that other one. Okay, so those are your PDFs, and you can just continue to do that with as many PDFs as you have, and you can upload multiple ones as well. One thing, though, while we're on the website documents, there's one thing you do need to know. Google automatically will set this to where no one can see it but you. They actually want your documents to be private until you tell it not to be private. What you can do is you can actually select all of your documents. You don't have to do them one at a time. You're going to right-click on the document, and you're going to go to this little button that's this title that says Share. You're going to click on Share, and you're going to go to the Advanced section down here in the lower right. You're going to click on that, and you'll see how it says Private. Only you can access. Well, you want everybody to access it. So you're going to hit Change, and you're going to move it to Public on the Web. You can also do it with anyone with a link. Let's say that you have a newsletter that you only want your members to see. You don't want the general public to find it on the website. You can always select that option and then copy the link and then send the link out to your members. And that way they are the only ones that can access it. But in general, most people just set it to public on the web. And you hit Save, and you'll see that it changed, and then you'll hit Done. And you just want to make sure you do that for all of your documents. If anybody calls you and they say they can't see the document, it says access denied, it's probably because you forgot to share it. So just right-click and do those steps, and then those people will be able to see it on the web. Okay, so let's go back. So now that we've got our photos and our documents uploaded, let's build our website. So to do that, you're only going to have to do this part one time. You're going to go up to My Drive. You're then going to click More, and then you're going to click Google Sites. And this will pop up as a brand new site. So it's already here. Also, something I didn't mention in the very beginning, you cannot edit, this is your toolbar over here on the right, you cannot edit your Google site unless you are in Firefox or Chrome. You cannot do this in IE. Internet Explorer does not support the editing function of Google Sites. So just be sure you're in either Google Chrome or Firefox. Okay, so here's our website. It's plain, there's nothing in it. We are going to start off by giving it a name. This name is not going to be part of your URL at the top, so you can just name it whatever you want. So we're going to name it IWLA Test Chapter. And when I do that, it'll show up down here as well. You can also add a logo up here to this little part right next to it if you would like, but we haven't been doing that with the websites that we have helped with over the last year, but you're welcome to do that too. This helps search engines. So this is basically what search engines are going to search when people type in your name. So you want to make sure that IWLA or Isaac Walton and of course your chapter name are up there so people can search by it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out, let's see, we're going to go up here to this toolbar. Let's discuss this toolbar first. These little arrows are your undo and redo buttons. So if you make a mistake, you hit that undo button and it'll undo it. If you want to put it back again, hit the redo button and it'll redo it. The preview button is where you can click it and it will actually let you preview your site before you publish it. It'll just give you a different view without the toolbar on the right. This Add Editor button is where you can invite other people to access the website. So if you have more than one person that is managing the website and putting content up, you can invite that person to be an admin, and their email address will be here, and then they will be able to access the website as well. The little buttons here, of course, there's a Take a Tour button. You can get help, send feedback, and then there's Site Analytics. This is with Google Analytics. We'll have some documentation for you later on how you can sync up your website with Google Analytics so you can then see how people are using your website, what pages they're clicking on. If you promoted something and you want to see how many people went to that page, you'll be able to find that out through Google Analytics. And then, of course, there's the Publish button. If you click on it right now, it just took the same name that I gave it up here, and this would be our URL that we would use. Of course, you can change that. It doesn't have to be the same name that you gave it up at the top. You would want to put that name there and then hit Publish. Keep this unchecked, this request public search engines to not display my site. Keep that unchecked because you obviously do want people to find your site, and then you would publish it. We're not going to publish it right now because we're not done with it. So we're just going to hit cancel, and we're going to move on. So the next thing we want to look at is the toolbar. So there are 3 tabs at the top: Insert, Pages, and Themes. Let's go to the Themes tab first. This is a pretty self-explanatory. When you click on Themes, you'll notice the page changes. So I'll click on Aristotle, Vision, Level, Impression. See how things change. The font changes, color changes. You can kind of go through here and decide which one you like the best. As a default, we have been using the Vision theme. We've also chosen the bold font, and we have used, instead of the blue or any other color, we've used the Isaac Walton green. And to do that, you'll click on this little, all of them have the same thing. The very last circle is a little paint can. You'll click on that paint can, and this color selection box will come up. And you will want to type in the Isaac Walton Lee color, which is 007A3D. So that's the Isaac Walton color. You'll see how it changed up here. And you'll just hit enter and get out of that, and there's your green. As you're going through your website and building it, if you decide you just don't like that theme, it's easy enough. You don't have to change anything. You can have an entire page filled with photos and text and everything. And if you don't like the theme, then all you have to do is change it. It's not going to affect your text or anything that you've added to the page. It just affects the color and the fonts. Okay? So we're going to move over here to Pages. Pages is where your navigation bar will come up. It's also just all of your pages. So we're going to create some pages. You're going to click on this little paper plus sign at the bottom, and you're going to give it a name. So we'll say About Us. And then let's add another one. We will add something that says Membership Info. And maybe we want to add a calendar. So we can add calendar. And let's say we want to do programs and activities. And maybe we'll do another one just that says map. Map and, let's see, map and directions. Okay? So you'll notice as I'm doing all of those, it's coming up here in the top nav. Now, if you have a lot of pages, this will eventually get filled up, and there'll be a little arrow over here that tells you to drop down for more. What we would suggest you do is you nest certain pages. So for instance, the map and directions page could actually go under About Us. And you'll notice if I click on these, see how things change. So every page, has its own page, its own top image. So let's pretend like we're going to move that. All you have to do is you just click on it and you drag it over top of the About Us page. And you'll notice now it went underneath it. It kind of tabbed itself over. And there's an arrow now, and now you have a drop down under that. Likewise, if you want calendar to go at the very end, let's say we want programs and activities to be above calendar, you'll again click on it, and you'll kind of move it until it's in between. See how the blue line changed? Not on top, but in between. And then you let go of your mouse, and then it changes. It actually moved it up. There's a few other things you can do here. If you'll notice these 3 little buttons, you can actually remove it or delete the page entirely. You can hide it. We love the hide functionality because, again, if you've got a yearly event and you've got all this information on the page, but then that event comes and goes, instead of keeping it on your website all year long, just hide it, and then the next year you can unhide it and it'll pop back up again, and all you'll have to do is just change a certain amount of information. So that's a really good feature. You can create a subpage. So if you know you want a subpage underneath calendar, you can do it that way instead of creating the page and then moving it around. You can rename it and you can duplicate it. And of course you can set it as your home page, but we don't really advise doing that. You want your home page to be pretty much the same all the time, a place where you just change basic information. So this is how you do your pages and how it creates your navigation. There's also a side navigation. So right now this one is going horizontally across the page. There's also a vertical. This little gear wheel over on the left-hand side, it's navigation settings. You'll click it, and your options are either top or side. The only problem with the side is if you choose it, it took everything away, and you just have this little bar here. And so in order for your members or users to find the navigation, they'll need to know to click on that. And when they do, it pops out from the left. You can't keep it there. It obviously dimmed your website and it's covering it, so then you'll have to hit the X. We just don't think that's very intuitive, so we like to keep things at the top level like this. Okay, so let's go to the Insert tab. This is how we're actually going to build our site. So before we get to building some pages, let's look at the different options. Let's start at the bottom. At the bottom, you'll notice there is something called Google Docs. If you've used Google Sites before and you've used some of this information, then this is going to be pretty easy for you. But otherwise, Google offers different options. So instead of creating a Word document and then uploading it into Google Docs, you can actually create a document right here. You can click on recent ones too, but you can also create new ones. And then you can create them and then move them onto the website. So you can create a Word document, slides, photo slides, you can create forms, charts. This is something you can just play with on your own. We haven't really found any use for them yet, but it might be something you want to play with. Up here at the Google Embed section, you have YouTube, Calendar, and Map. This is where you would insert your address and create a map. We're going to do that in a minute. Also where you can insert your calendar, and you can insert and embed videos from YouTube as well. So we're going to show you how to do all of that. The From Drive section is basically going to take you to your drive. So see the two folders that we named? It's going to take you there so you can easily access your content. It's just it's almost like a quick shortcut to get to your content that you've uploaded. This divider is just a horizontal divider that you can use for your content. So if you've got a large amount of text and you want to kind of break it up a little bit, you can use this divider to do that, and we'll show you how to do that as well. These four icons are going to be your main icons. The upload is going to upload directly from your computer. We wouldn't advise using the upload that often because, again, if you upload it directly from your computer, it's not being saved on Google Drive, which means anybody else who may need that information won't be able to find it because it's sitting on your computer and not the drive. So only use this if you're in a pinch or if you're in a hurry, and then try to upload that file directly to Google Drive later. Embedding URLs, you can embed a URL. So if we wanted to embed the Isaac Walton League website onto this website, we can do that. We're going to show you how to do that as well in a minute. And then, of course, there's images. In order to find the images that you uploaded, you're going to click on Images and then Google Drive, and then you'll see all the photos that we've uploaded. And then you'll click the one you want and hit Select. Text box adds a text box. Pretty simple. And we're going to go over what all of this means as well. So that's the toolbar. Google's not giving you a ton of options just yet. They're still new. They're still building this out. It's been about 10 years since they created a brand new Google site. So they're starting out kind of slow, and they're giving you just the basic information. So let's start to build some stuff. We're going to go back to our home page. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this generic image in the back. So to do that, you actually have three different options for your header type. Right now it's selected to banner, but you can select title only, which gets rid of everything, or you can select large banner, which makes it really, really big. We think best practices and what looks the best is just the plain banner. But of course, it's your website, and we want you to be happy with it, so you're welcome to choose whichever one you like. So we're going to go back to the banner, and we are going to change this image. So you're going to click on Change Image, and you can either select an image, which here is at your Google Drive, or you can upload an image, which takes you to your computer. So we obviously know that we have some images in our Google Drive. So we're going to go to our documents, and I'm going to upload this wheat field image that's already been sized. The size of these images is in the documentation that we have. We have a PDF that we're going to also have available, and the size of those images are in there. So we're going to hit select, and the image changed. You'll also notice as I'm sitting here, we're talking, that it darkened the image. That's because of this little icon right here. It looks like a bunch of little stars in the lower right-hand corner. That is adjusting it based on if you've got text over it or not. And right now we do. If you don't like that darkness, all you have to do is just click it. It'll put a little flash through it, and it will lighten it back up to its original color. So that's something you can also play with. The other thing you can do once you've done that is we've got here, I'm going to move, let's see, we're going to delete this image. Well, or text. What you can do is you can have text here. So we can actually type in here, welcome. We can also move this around, so we can move it over here to the side if we want to. You'll notice, though, we can't change the color of it because it's defaulted to white based on the theme that we chose. But we can add a link. You can click this and add a link. You can also delete it completely. You can align it if you want it certain aligned left or right. And you can also change it. So right now it's set to title. Heading is a little bit smaller. Subheading is even smaller than that. And then you got normal text. So we want this to be the big title, so we're going to leave it there. Another thing we can do is we can add the IWLA logo up here. So to do that, we can go either to From Drive, or we can do Images. If I clicked on Images, we just find the image and hit Select. Or I can do it from the drive as well. I can click here, find my image, and insert it. And it'll insert it here. Of course, I don't want it there. I want it up here at the top. So before I do anything, I'm just going to kind of drag it around until I get it the size that I want. And let's make sure it doesn't cut anything off. And then I'm going to put it up here. Now, when I did that, it kind of made everything kind of big. That's because the logo is a little too big. I don't want it that big. So again, we can shrink it a little bit. And maybe I want to move it a little bit closer. I might not even like this, and I don't like this welcome up here. So what I can do is I can delete it, and I can move the logo in the middle, and it's just nice and clean at the top. So that's some of the things you can do up at the top section with your header images. Every single page does the same exact thing. So whatever we do on this home page can be done on all the other pages. You can change out the image, add text. Everything's exactly the same. So let's go down here and add some text. We're going to add text box. You're going to click the blue text box icon. It's going to give you a blank box. And in this box, you can do several things. You can, there's a few little things over here for coding if you wanted to code something. You can delete it entirely if for some reason you don't like it. When you go in and add text, you can highlight text and link it to other pages. You can add bullets, numbers, you can align, and of course italicize and bold. So let's type in our welcome here. So that's the normal text. This is title text. It's really big, and it also has this gray bar around it. Here is the header or heading text, which we like. And then the subhead actually is smaller, and it turns green based on the theme that you chose. So since this is a main header, we're going to put it back up to heading. I'm sorry, a main title. We're going to put it to heading, so it's a little bit bigger. So we're just going to say welcome. One of the other things you need to know is every single text box comes with these little icons on the left. The first one you need to notice is that there are a bunch of little dots here. This allows you to move it around. So if you want to move it, you can move it around. You can delete it, the entire section. You can also duplicate it. And this little paint palette lets you change the background. So for instance, right now it's white. You can change it to gray, change to gray. You can also change it to black, it's like a blackish gray, or you can upload an image and have a background image. So those are some things you can also play with. Let's add another text box. We're going to go to the IWLA website, and we're just going to grab some text just so we can see what's going on, and we're going to put it in there. Let's pretend that I want to link to the Clean Water Challenge. So I need to first go to that page, and I'm going to then grab the URL. So here's the URL for the Clean Water Challenge page on the site. I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to highlight the Clean Water Challenge title. I'm going to hit the little link button, and then I'm just going to paste that URL in there and hit apply. And now this is hot linked to the Clean Water Challenge page. You can also link to other pages on your site. So let's say that I have this sentence that says, it's where our kids play and dogs splash. Let's say that I want that to link to our programs and activities page. Again, you'll highlight it, you'll click the link button, and then you'll scroll down. These are all of your pages, and you can click the program and activity title, hit apply. And now this kids play and dogs splash, when someone clicks on it, they'll automatically go to your programs and activities. So those are two ways you can link to things within the site. Let's say that we want to get people connected with Facebook. So we're going to add another text box, and it's going to say stay connected. And then it'll say something like visit the IWLA national Facebook page. Okay, so we're going to let this, we want this to stand out a little bit, so we're going to highlight this and make it maybe a subheader. And of course, we would link to the Facebook page here. But I have that Facebook icon, which might be kind of fun to have in here as well, so people would really know what it means. So you'll see that I just dragged this a little bit shorter, and I just kind of moved it around. You'll notice that there are some grid lines behind each text box. That helps you align things. So you're not going to be able to just put the box anywhere you want. You're going to have to, it's going to have to snap to one of those grid lines. So I'm going to put it right here, and I have that Facebook icon that I want to put there. Again, I can go to From Drive, or I can hit Images. We'll do Images this time. And here's my Facebook icon. And I'm going to click it, and here it comes. Now, the other thing you can do for an image is you can crop it, you can resize it or uncrop it. You can add a link to this as well, and of course you can delete it. And I'm going to move it over here. And then I'm going to move this box kind of next to it. And maybe I want this to stand out a little bit more from all the other text, so I'm going to go over here to this paint palette and make the background gray. And that way it stands out a little bit more. Okay? So that's sort of how you do the images. Also on the image, you can add a caption, which is kind of nice if you have a larger image. You can also add alt text, which is for people who are not able to see their computer and they use different programs to understand what they're seeing. And of course, you can replace the image if it's not what you like, or you can delete it as well. So that's that. So let's go through here and also add a few other things. So all the text and all the images are done the exact same way, no matter what you do. In fact, let's pretend like we want to add a big image up here at the top. So let's say I want to move this over. Or actually, let's do a video. I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to put a video about Isaac Walton Lee. So the first thing I have to do is I have to go to our YouTube channel. So you're going to go to YouTube. You are going to search Isaac Walton League, and you'll see our main channel is right here, the one with the logo, and you're going to click on that. And I want to put this About Isaac Walton League of America, which is about us, on that page. So it's just an introductory or a little snapshot into who we are. So I'm going to click on the title, and I'm going to go up here to where it says Share. So there's a little share icon. Sometimes you can copy this URL, and sometimes it doesn't work. So sometimes you have to do the share. It depends on, it kind of depends on how YouTube is feeling. I have found that both of them work, and sometimes both of them don't. So don't get discouraged. Just go either choose the top URL or this shorter URL here under the share button. We're going to try that one first. So I'm going to click share or copy that and go back to my website. I'm going to click on the YouTube button. And when I do that, I can search for it. So I'm going to paste that URL in there, and I'm going to hit search. And there it is. It popped up for me. So then you're going to select it, turns blue, and you're going to hit the select button, and it's going to pop it onto our page. Of course, I want it up here, so all I have to do is click and drag, and it's going to drag it up here. I also think that's a little too big for my page, so I can click on the video, and with these blue dots, I can make it a little less large, and then I can move it around and align it so it's a little bit better. Okay, so that's how you do a YouTube video. Pretty simple. Let's say we want to add a calendar to our map and direction page. So let's go to that page. Again, we can change this to say calendar. And I want to change that image, so I'm going to select an image. I'm going to select that, go to my Google Drive, go to my website photos, and I'm just going to click on this generic image for the calendar. And you'll notice it's going to darken it for me. The reason why it darkened that image is because it wanted the calendar text to stand out. If I were to not do that, you'll see it kind of blends in. So you'll want to keep that dark. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click on calendar. Now, when you click on calendar, chances are you probably already have a calendar in your Google Drive, whether you knew it or not. What you have to do, though, is you have to create the calendar in the Google Calendar app. It's where we were in the Drive section, right up here, this little, the grid of boxes with the apps. There's one called Calendar. You have to go in there and actually edit and insert and do all the stuff you want to do for your calendar. You cannot do it within the website. So what you'll do is you'll create your calendar or edit your calendar in the Calendar app, and then you will go back to your website, and it's always here. You'll just insert it. And once you insert it once, you won't have to do that again. You will edit your calendar in the Calendar app, and as you save it there, it automatically saves it on your website. So you only have to do this one time. So I want this to be pretty big, so I'm going to move it around. I don't want it to have this look where it's a list. I'd rather it look like a real calendar. You can do that by going up here to this little wheel, the settings, and you can change the mode to monthly or weekly, but we'll do monthly. And when you do that, you'll see that it actually changed it to more of a calendar look. And it'll stay here. Again, you can't edit it here. You'll have to go back to the Calendar app and do it there. So that's how you'll upload a calendar. Let's go back to the About Us page. Again, we're going to change this image. Let's see, we'll put this one in for About Us. And we're going to add a map so people can find us. So when you do that, you're going to click on Maps, and up pops the Google Map interface, and you're going to just type in your location. So I'm going to type in the location of the national office on Conservation Lane, and it will put a little pin drop on that location. If that looks good to you, great. If it doesn't, you might have to figure out what's going on. Sometimes, especially if some of the chapter houses are out on a rural road or there's a lot of farmland around, it has a hard time pinpointing. It also depends on how the GPS is in your area. So a few chapters have had to not use this map, and they've had to use photos or just text to get people to know where they are. So hopefully that won't happen, but if it does, there are other options you can use. So we're going to hit select, and it's going to put the map on the page. And again, we can move this around. We can make it really big so people can see it. And when you do that, that is where it will go. So that's all you have to do to create a map. Other than that, I believe we're almost done. There's not much else unless we wanted to embed a URL. That's probably the only thing we haven't gone over. Also, there's the divider. Here's what the divider looks like. It is just a line. So you can see how you can change it based, and obviously it turns green because it's in the gray box. But if we had other text, like up here, it would make it like a light gray. So that's all the divider does, and of course you can delete it if you don't like it. And then the only other thing we haven't done is to embed a URL. So let's say we want to embed the Isaac Walton League web or the Clean Water Challenge. Let's go back to that. We're going to embed this URL onto our chapter page. You're just going to copy that URL or that link. You're going to paste it here. It's going to display what it will look like, and we're going to hit insert, and that page is literally now embedded onto your site. And of course you can shrink that and move that around as well. And what happens is people will see that, and then it'll have a link directly to it. That's how you would embed another web page. We actually haven't used this option very often, but if you feel like there's something you need it for, it's definitely there. So I'm going to delete that. I do want to show you how to upload a document. It's the same thing as a photo. You will go to Drive, or you could, well, yeah, you'll go to Drive to get the documents. You'll click on Website Documents, and here are the two documents that I want to upload. I can do one at a time, or I can click on both, and I can insert those. And here they are. And of course, I can, move those around so they're small too. One thing you want to know about documents is that if you, you'll notice that my titles are showing up. If you've named them something weird like, 11/06/17 document 5521 whatever newsletter, that's going to show up here. So before you upload your documents, make sure you've named them something that's more like a title. Like this one is how to make your calendar shareable. This one is how to give a document permission. So you're going to want to do that. You can also add a little text box to the top of those that says, gives each document a title. So documents about website, about building a website. And you can actually move that up at the top and make it more of a headline too. So something like that might work. Okay. I believe that is pretty much it. Again, every single page does the same thing. So and again, you're a little limited in what you can do. You definitely can't mess it up. There's obviously options. You can delete things, you can move things around. We just hope that you have fun with it. Once you are satisfied with your website and you've previewed it, up here at the preview button, the little eyeball, once you're happy with it, of course, then you do want to publish it. So you would go over here to publish, and then of course give it a name. Make sure when you give it a name that you copy this real quick before you hit publish, so you'll remember what it is, and then you'll hit publish. And after that, it's all done. So there are several things you'll need to do after your website is complete. One of the things is you need to contact us at the national office. You'll need to email us at info@iwla.org. So it's info, I-N-F-O, @iwla.org, and let us know that you have completed your website, because what we actually have to do a few small things on our end just to make sure that all of your links, your redirects and everything are working. We also will want to help you set your site up with Google Analytics, so we'll be emailing you documents about that. And after that, what you'll need to do, I'm going to cancel this. What you'll need to do after that, though, you'll need to decide what you want to do with your old site. You'll need to go back into your old website, and what we would advise doing is you can do one of two things. You can either delete it completely, or you can remove all of the content from the website, and you can put up just a we have moved message. I believe we have a few chapters who've done that. Let me see if I can find one that might work here. Let's see. Okay, so Brown County has done the same thing. We have moved. Check out our new website, and then it's a link that takes them to the website. Technically, they should be taking all of this stuff off. It could be that there's no content under there, so there's a few. Technically, they need to take all this stuff off, and that way people will go directly to their new site And that also helps Google find your new site better, easier. The more people, if you have people in your community and your chapter members who have this old site bookmarked and they go here, then they click on the new one, Google's going to start indexing your new site faster. So we actually do advise that you try this method first, and then after about a month, you can take this site down. It takes about a month for Google to index any new sites, and since you're building your new site with Google, it's going to index it pretty fast for you. And then really all you need to do is just try to find that website in searches. So do a few searches and make sure that it's actually working. If after a few months you still cannot find your website when you do a search for it in Google, then definitely let us know, and we'll see if there's anything that we can do on our end to help you. So again, I think that's about it. If you have any questions, please let us know at info@iwla.org. Otherwise, have fun with it. You know, if you need help with sizing images or creating new images, please let us know. We are definitely here to help you as best we can. Thank you so much for your time. Goodbye.